Three. We're live. Tanya.
On. Hello.
All right, make sure you're there.
I am.
Guess what Will said right before we went live?
Tanya's awesome.
No.
Oh.
He said, and don't forget about Tanya.
What? Nobody can ever
As
forget about Will.
As if.
Right?
All right. Welcome everyone to day five of the live cast, how to start a successful law firm in 90 days or less. For those of you who have been with us all along, I'm just going to do a very quick, short, brief recap. So please bear with me because everyone who's just joining us might not understand the context and what the hell is going on around here. My name is Arjan Robbins. I'm the founder and CEO of How to Manage a Small Law Firm. How to Manage a Small Law Firm manages more than 500 of some of the most successful law firms you will ever have the pleasure of meeting. These are law firms that are growing at faster rates than most small law firms do, more profitable, more fun to run. They work with the owner not having to be there for days, weeks, months at a time. And each of the 7 main parts of them keep working and going and growing. We are not a marketing agency. In fact, we've got nothing to sell you today on the live stream. We actually have a waiting list. We've had a waiting list for the better part of 3 years. We function as the CEO for these 500 plus law firms. We function as the chief operating officer for many of these law firms. We function as the chief financial officer. We function as the chief marketing officer. We function as the controller. Basically, our business model is very simple. We level the playing field. We give owners of small law firms access to the caliber of C-suite advisory services. The owner of a $50 million law firm wouldn't even consider trying to run a $50 million law firm without a full-time dedicated CEO and COO and CFO and CMO. The owner of a $20 million law firm, a $10 million, they wouldn't even think of trying to run that law firm without surrounding themselves with the caliber of C-suite advisory services that our 500 law firm owners get access to on account of the fact that they're members of How to Manage a Small Law Firm. And How to Manage a Small Law Firm is a lot more than just the technical services. It is an amazing community of entrepreneurial law firm owners who are fun to be around. They're collaborative, they're cooperative, they're very, very intellectually generous. It's the most amazing thing in the world when you walk into your first live quarterly meeting or a workshop and you meet hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these entrepreneur turned law firm owners, and you realize like, wow, these are my people. There's like a group of cool, fun, collaborative entrepreneurs who all happen to own law firms. That's the business model. Very briefly, I went to law school. I learned all the same things in law school that you probably learned in law school about the business of running a law firm, which is nothing. In fact, if they just taught me nothing in law school about the business of running a law firm, I probably would have been ahead of the game. But instead, they gave me the line, and you probably will recognize the line: just be a good lawyer, do great work, and the rest will take care of itself. As if the law firm management elves, the magic law firm management elves, are going to like sneak into your firm in the middle of the night and document your policies and think through your procedures and train your staff and create key performance indicators and give you dashboards and reports so you can see what's really going on in your business, and will do the financial analysis for you and like teach you to be financially literate while you sleep or something like that. It's all bullshit, right? The business of a law firm is the business of a law firm, which is different from the practice of law. And if you want to start and run a successful law firm, it's not enough to just be a great lawyer. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to be the best lawyer you can be, but I'm telling you, you don't even have to be a great lawyer. If you take care of each of the 7 main parts of your business, you can hire lawyers who are better lawyers than you to provide amazing services for the clients of the firm. and the firm can do a lot more good for a lot more people and give you a great living financially because you make a lot of money. Can great not just the amount of money, but the consistency, the predictability, the dependability of the money. It can give you a great life in terms of giving you freedom, because if you build the law firm the right way, if you set up the foundations the right way, your law firm can be set up so that it runs without you having to be there for days, weeks, even months at a time. And while you're gone, the marketing keeps bringing prospective new clients to the door. The sales processes keep happening to convert prospective clients into paying clients, even when you're not there. The work keeps getting done to high, objective, measurable, trackable standards that you can be proud of. And so the clients get value. The staff keeps getting trained. The staff keeps getting supported. The staff knows what they're supposed to do. They know that they're going to be held accountable, good and bad, if they do or don't do the job they're supposed to be doing. The financial controls keep working for you. If you build the business the right way, the business can work for you. And so this program, How to Start a Successful Law Firm, was the very first program I ever taught back in 2009. Back in 2009, this is the very first program I ever taught. I had been a small law firm management advisor with the Florida Bar's Law Office Management Assistant Service. Between August 24th, 1999 and 2001, I was a practice management advisor with the Florida Bar's Law Office Management Assistant Service, which means, and this is a documented fact in bar records somewhere, and I can do the math for you and prove to you these numbers. I had the opportunity during the 4 years that I was a Lomas practice management advisor, I had the unique opportunity to work with more than 9,000 lawyers. More than 9,000 lawyers on every aspect of starting, marketing, managing, buying, selling, growing, you name it. I can't remember the last time someone brought me a law firm management challenge that I hadn't heard hundreds of times before. This is good news and this is bad news, depending on the condition of your ego. If you have a big ego, you will not like to hear this. If you have a healthy ego, then you will be relieved and gladdened and encouraged to hear what I'm about to say. And that is, no one is going to name any of your law firm management problems after you. No one's going to name the disease after you. You're going to bring us your problems, and we're going to say, oh yeah, we know what to do about that. We've seen that and solved that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times before. Here's what you do to fix that one. Here's what you do to solve the other one. Fix and solve, not the same thing. I don't want to get sidetracked. The point I'm trying to make is, while I was at the Florida Bar, I just saw the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And so I developed a business plan while I was with Lomas. And the business plan was designed to level the playing field for small law firm owners by giving them the opportunity to add a CEO, a COO, a CFO, and a CMO. Excuse me. Actually, that's not really the way it was. Back then, the business plan was just CEO. And then it eventually evolved to CEO and COO. And then it evolved into CEO and COO and Chief Financial Officer. And then it evolved to add the Chief Marketing Officer. But the point I'm making is, I saw that small law firm owners were at a huge disadvantage, because $1 million law firm, which is still a very small law firm, you don't get to mid-size until you get past $10 million. And then a $10 million law firm is still the teeniest, tiniest, scrawniest freshman new on campus, because a mid-sized law firm goes to $100 million, which, by the way, I spent 3 years working with mid-sized firms, 25, 50, $75 million in revenue. So I know that world too. The point that I'm making is, I saw that small law firm owners were at a huge disadvantage, because even if you have $1 million in gross revenue, $500,000 in gross revenue, certainly if you only have $250,000 in gross revenue and your law firm is still in that first stage of growth, how are you going to afford to hire a qualified, experienced, credentialed, resourced, well-trained, experienced chief executive officer to help you build your business plan and create your strategic plans and help you navigate your way through everything that you got to navigate your way through in order for your law firm to grow from the first stage to the second stage and the second stage to the third stage and so on and so forth. And even if you have $1 million firm, how are you going to hire a chief executive officer and a chief operating officer and the chief? I mean, these are each $200,000 positions.
Easily.
Even if you had $1 million firm, you can't hire a $200,000 CEO and a $200,000 COO and a $200,000 CFO and a $200,000 CMO. There's nothing left, right? So that's why we created How to Manage Small Law Firm back in 1999 to create a timeshare, a fractional CXO, a fractional C-suite solution to give small law firm owners access to the kinds of resources that you need in order to run your law firm like a business and not just keep kind of like stumbling along, running it like a practice. And so this is why when lawyers start working with us and we install these positions in the firm, and when we give you access to this community of amazing entrepreneurs, two of whom you get to meet today, I mean, just magic starts to happen. You make more money, you have less stress, the cash flow happens more predictably, you work better hours, you get more control over your time, you have more fun, your clients are happier, your staff is happier, your family's a lot happier, and your bank account starts to swell. Lots of good things start to happen. Not because it's like magic, it's just business. You mix up the ingredients the right way, you manage the ingredients the right way, day after day, week after week, quarter after quarter. You just keep doing the work and it just works for you. Take care of the causes and the effects will take care of themselves. So I am on the clock today and I don't have a lot of time to bounce around. So we're going to take your questions later because one of our guests, has a commitment she has to get to. And I think the other, I don't know if Morgan has commitments she needs to get to also, but Morgan's got a life too. So let me begin by introducing, are we ready to introduce them? Whatever you need to do, clickety-clack behind the screen, you can make it happen?
Yep, she's there.
All right. So Vanessa, do I call you, Madam
Governor? Yes, you may call me Madam Governor.
Do you go by Madam Governor or just Governor?
Governor.
Governor?
I will respond to either. So feel free to, use whichever one fits you best.
All right, I'm going to refer to you as Governor.
Okay.
All right. So would you just briefly introduce where is your firm today, financially, personally, professionally? Maybe we can explain to everyone what I'm joking about, calling you Governor, which I will. Or Madam Governor. And then I'm going to ask Morgan to introduce yourself too. And then we'll get to what we asked you to join us, which is what are some of the things you just wish someone had told you before you started your own law firm? But before we get to the question, what do you wish someone had told you before you started your own law firm? Vanessa, if you would first, please, just where's your firm today? Financially, personally, professionally.
So I'm Vanessa Vasquez and my firm is the Vasquez-Zara Law Group and I am in Miami, Florida. We are a family and divorce law firm only. And at this point in time, we just hired our 10th associate. We just brought on a mentoring attorney who is going to be the person who is going to mentor the associates so that I can be governor. But we are now a team of approximately 40. It feels like the number changes every day. So it's hard to keep track. And I've been practicing since 2003, but I've had the firm since approximately 2012. The reason it's an approximate, as I was telling the story earlier, is that I started the firm after I stayed home for a few years with my kids. And it was a little bit like a side hustle because I put them in school part time. And so I was practicing part time, but part time preschool hours, which was between 9 and 12. So my first office, I was paying to go in once a week, $100 a month to go in once a week. So our growth was very organic, and I do owe a huge debt of gratitude to you and to How to Manage, since I've been here since 2016, and it's definitely a big part of why I've grown the way I have. When I started, we recently did a LinkedIn post and showed a rendering, because I don't have pictures from back then, because phones didn't take pictures as easily back then of our 12 by 12 office. And now we have about 5,000 square feet, give or take, in our Dayland office. And we've got offices in Coral Gables, in Fort Lauderdale, downtown, Pembroke Pines. So we've continued to grow. Last year, we were around 4.7 million. And when I started the firm, it was at zero because I wasn't working. The year before I started How to Manage, I believe I was at 350. So in 2015, I was at 350.
The law firm was at 300. The law firm was grossing $350,000 a year the year before you started working with How to Manage Small Law Firm.
Yes.
And now it's at $4.2 million.
4.7 was what we closed at
$4.7 million.
In 2025. Right.
And let's talk about like home life, right?
Sure.
What was life like back then? And remind me what year we started working together. You mentioned it, but I just
2016.
2016. So 2016.
Exactly. Now at the April LQM will be my 10th anniversary, because I joined in April of 2016.
10 years with How to Manage. So right when my son was born.
Yes, I remember Allie pregnant.
Yeah, that's right. And so how old were your kids back then when we started working together? Just like, what was life like? The good, the bad, the stress, the anxiety, the fear, the pressure, all of that. I want everyone in the audience to understand that you are a real person. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a friend, you've got hobbies, you've got parents. You're not just like this maniac workaholic. You actually have a lot of freedom in your life because of the business you built. But I want to go back to the beginning. What was it like before?
Sure. So my boys are 17 and 20 now. So 10 years ago, they were 7 and 10. And the reason I started the firm is because I put them in school and I needed to pay for school. I always wanted them to be in a private Christian school. And so once I put them in a private Christian school, I needed to now start making the money to start paying for that private Christian school. So, we've been able to, to upgrade that. They've changed as they've continued to grow to a few different schools. My little one is now graduating high school. I feel a little old in saying that, but yeah, my little one is graduating high school, heading off to FSU now in the summer. And so, I think that one of my really like most recent aha moments is we took our family, our extended family, and I'm talking about, we were approximately 20 people, I want to say, because it was my parents, my in-laws, my sister and her family, my brother-in-law and his family, and our best friend. And we took them to Costa Rica, and we rented this fabulous house that fits 20 people. So you can imagine the size of this house on the beach. And we covered the cost of,
like, you just want to pinch yourself, right?
Exactly.
It's like I just wish, for everyone in the audience, I just wish, if you're struggling right now, I just wish, because I was struggling, Vanessa was struggling, Morgan was struggling, everyone's been struggling. And I just wish we could like let you live in our reality for 3 months. If you could just live in our reality for 3 months, there is no fucking way you would ever go back to the way things are now. You would never put up with the shit you're putting up with. You would never tolerate the excuses you're tolerating. You would never procrastinate. You would never delay. You would never let go if you just knew. And I don't mean the cars and the houses and the travel. I just mean just the peace.
For sure.
Well, I don't know if you heard Vanessa and I were talking before we started. I mean, yes, this is travel, but she now gets to take her whole family on a graduation trip for one of her kids, right? Like she gets to leave the firm. Her COO gets to leave the firm because he's part of the family. The kids, like that kind of freedom and the ability to invest with your family in that way. It's not so much the trip, it's taking the time to be with your family. Like that's amazing.
We were in Costa Rica for, we had booked it for a week and our family was there for about 5 days. And then when we were wrapping up, Julian and I, my husband and I were like, I think we need a vacation from the vacation. So we then booked another like 3 days. We sent everybody home.
You ditched the kids and you're like, we're staying.
Because you can. And I just want everyone at home to hear, this isn't about the money. I mean, the money obviously is what facilitates it. It's about having the business working for you where you could just spontaneously decide, you know what, we need a few extra days on a vacation from a vacation. And while you're gone, each of the 7 main parts of the business keep going and keep growing while you're away. It just gives you so much freedom.
Yep, exactly. So as Tanya mentioned, we're doing our last big vacation while my kid is still a minor, and while I still control him physically, not just financially.
Legally, I don't think you can control him physically. He's pretty big.
You know what I mean? But we're gonna go spend.
You can legally control him.
We're gonna go spend 2 weeks in Europe. So I'm really excited because we're gonna, do a few different countries and yeah, I mean, we definitely could not even envision that when I started the firm and, I'm like, I need to pay for preschool, which as a part-time thing was like, I don't know, $800 a month per kid, 1,000. I don't remember.
That was your original goal, is $800 a month.
Right.
Oh,
that's what I needed. I need to cover it was like 500, 800 per kid. And that's what I needed to make up. But yeah, it's definitely a different reality from where we were.
What would you say if you could travel back in time and tell Vanessa from 10 years ago, right before we started working together, when your firm is still like pounding it? I mean, $350,000, it's hard to gross $350,000. Am I right? It's harder to gross $350,000 than to gross $1,350,000. Is that, please say amen. Say something.
Sure. I mean, it was me. It was me. Those 350 came from me. I was literally doing all the things. I was, I had a contract, part-time paralegal, a contract, part-time file clerk, some coverage counsel that helped if I, absolutely needed it, but I didn't want to do that because then that meant I needed to give them some of the money that I was making. So, I mean, it was absolutely 100%. Everything is me. Now, with 10 lawyers at the firm, I have 2 cases and it's by choice. It's not even because I need to do it, but because I like to stay connected. I like to make sure that, that the judges see me every once in a while, but it's definitely a completely different animal. I was out for spring break. My son got 2 weeks of spring break. So I was out for 2 weeks because this was his last spring break. And, and again, the firm, with a director of ops and, and a full team, a full operational team, things keep happening without me. I'm not irrelevant because I'm here making, doing the vision and, Julian and I are planning what what our next steps are and making sure that we're constantly, kind of figuring out where the firm is going. But the day to day doesn't need me. If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, unfortunately, the firm would be able to keep working and making money and feeding 40 families, which is what we feed today.
That's something that I think doesn't get talked about enough is, the morality and I think the ethical obligation to build a business that's going to be able to keep delivering on its commitments to its clients, to its staff, to its vendors, if something happens to us as the owner. Because, I mean, what a shitty thing. And we see, I've been doing this since 1999, and I've seen it all, right? And I'm not saying I've seen this hundreds of times, but I've certainly seen this dozens of times where a lawyer dies unexpectedly and their clients are just completely left hanging because there's no processes, there's no procedures, there's no systems, there's no operation there to keep the work going. And they got to go get an inventory attorney assigned, the spouse or significant other. Someone's got to go in and contact the bar and get an inventory attorney appointed. And then the inventory attorney has to go in and like inventory the shit show of lack of policies, no systems, no procedures, no key performance indicators, no metrics, no nothing. There's no machine to come in to take over. And then the inventory attorney has to like take over the cases and like figure out how to pay for all the work that the clients are still owed from the attorney who died. And like, I just, hey, you know what, Vanessa? You were just elected to the board of governors of the Florida bar, right?
Yes.
All right. I want to talk to you, not here, not now, but I want to talk to you. I believe there should be a bar rule that makes it an ethical obligation, a professional obligation, that if you're going to take on cases from clients, I believe you ought to be able to demonstrate to the bar or to someone that you have a viable business that will actually be able to still be in business all the way through the final resolution of a case or matter. I think we have an ethical obligation to run a profitable law firm. I think we owe that to our clients. I think we owe that to our profession. I'm going to talk to you later about how I can convince you to maybe introduce a bill or something. I don't know how it works. I'm a member of the Florida bar, but I don't know how any of that stuff works.
I'm making a list of all the things that, I did tell people when I was running, I said, let me know what your needs are. I heard from an 80-year lawyer, a lawyer in his 80s, who asked me about, once you've been practicing over 50 years, that we should stop charging dues. Because if you're practicing in your 80s, you're probably doing it because you need the money, and therefore you should stop paying dues. So I've got a list.
So sad. That's like, what's that song? That song about "Don't Bring Me Down."
Don't let me down.
No, "Don't Bring Me Down." Someone's gonna find this song, "Don't Bring Me Down."
Probably 20.
I'm Googling.
Don't bring me down.
Morgan, do you know it? Morgan's nodding.
All right.
Bring her up.
So yes,
Morgan.
I've got a list of things that people are asking.
Morgan,
Yes.
I'm going to find this song and ask you while I'm looking for this song.
Is it Electric Light Orchestra?
It's Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah.
Electric Light Orchestra. Don't bring me down. Don't bring me down. Electric Light Orchestra. Come on, y'all know this song.
Why is Amazon paying me $600?
Sorry, there's ads during it.
All right, y'all know the song, Don't Bring Me Down. Yeah, so I had to get brought down by the vision of someone who's been practicing law their whole fucking life and they can't make bar dues. How much are bar dues? I don't even know.
I just brought back governor.
Like $300.
300 or 400 in New York.
Yeah, in Florida,
Like
it's
for
like
real?
300 bucks. I think he asked
for
me
real?
also about getting.
I have
getting-
access to a board of governor, and I can advocate for any improvements to our profession. And like the big thing is, I've been practicing law for 50 years, and $300 a year in bar dues like makes a difference to me. I mean, all right, listen, Morgan,
Yes.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How's your new car?
My new car is fabulous. Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Yes.
So what do you do? Give us some of tell us about your firm. What does the firm do? Revenues, staff. Where's the firm today? Where was the firm when you started working with How to Manage a Small Law Firm? Just give everyone kind of the basics, because I want to make sure we have time to get to the questions of what are a few things, let's say 3 things that each of you wish someone had told you before you started your own law firm that could have made this whole thing better, faster, easier, less scary, less painful, less stressful, more enjoyable, more profitable. I got 2 more fingers, but I can't think of anything else. Better and better.
There you go. So yes, I'm Morgan Bowers. I own Four Corners Legacy Law. We're located in Chatham, New York, which is a small county, city or town in a county in New York. We are a primarily estate planning law firm. So we help future dead people, get themselves organized so they don't leave a mess for their families. And when I started, let's see, so I've been working for the law firm from 2003. I started as a part-time associate for a sole practitioner doing primarily business law. In 2016, we became partners because she wanted to retire. And basically she said, you can take over the law firm or you can go out and get a job. And I didn't really want to go out and get a job. So I decided to buy the law firm from her. And I took that over in 2018. And I joined How to Manage in 2022. So when I started, obviously it was just me. I quickly realized I needed an assistant. But when I joined How to Manage, we were at about that year, I was at 334,000. I had just hired and fired.
When you bought the firm, it was growth. When you bought the firm, it was also around 330,000 in revenue.
So it had been high. So I was only part-time. And so the owner did litigate. She did a lot of things that I didn't do. So when I took it over with just what I was doing. I didn't take on a lot of what she was doing. So I was probably around, we had been at a lot higher. But because of some big litigation she had, that all settled right before she retired. So I brought it from about 100 up to the 334.
All right. So let me ask you this. When you bought the firm, and this is actually a really interesting opportunity for everyone who's paying attention. When you bought the firm, what exactly did you buy? Did you buy a working marketing machine that was able to consistently, predictably, reliably, dependably bring in prospective new clients? Did you buy a well thought out intake system that brought the prospective new clients to the sales call preconditioned and pre-qualified and pre-educated and predisposed to engage the firm? Did you buy a sales system that converted prospective new clients into paying new clients with you or without you being there? Did you buy operating systems, operating procedures, checklists, templates? Did you buy any kind of job descriptions, any kind of existing going concern staff value? Did you buy financial controls? What exactly did you buy?
I bought a book of existing clients that the firm had for about 15 years or so, and a few pieces of office equipment to go with them. That was pretty much it. We had been a referral. We never advertised. We never marketed. We never networked. We never did anything. Clients just came to us because we had a great reputation. She had a great reputation. I bought a phone number that everybody had been using. That was about it. Most of the stuff that you're describing, what there was of it, were things that I had put in over the 2 years before I actually fully purchased the firm. But when I started the firm, yeah, pretty much I was starting from ground zero, but with a book of reliable clients who I had retainers for and who knew me, who had worked with me for years. So I started with that, and then the referrals that we had built up over those years. So I guess you would say I bought a lot of goodwill is pretty much what I was buying.
Okay, so let me ask a different question, I guess.
Mhm.
Knowing what you know now, and just for context, what did the firm gross last year? What's the firm projected to gross this year? What's the staff complement of the firm? Like, where is the firm today, and what's life like as the owner of the firm now? And then I'm going to jump back to before you bought the firm.
Right. Okay. So last year we grossed about $932,000. We are now up to 9 employees, 3 of whom were hired in the fourth quarter of last year. We are growing out of our office space and just opened a satellite office in Albany. We have systems and processes and an operations manager. We have a marketing system. So all of those things are things that we now have. When I started, it was pretty much me and a computer and a list and a phone number.
We'll talk about freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to step away from the firm for days, weeks? Are you up to a month at a time yet? And while you're gone, the firm keeps going?
So yes, the firm absolutely keeps going. I can go away for a week. I can go away for 2 weeks, 10 days, and the firm will keep going, and clients will be seen, and clients will come in the door. Everything keeps working. So that is amazing. When I bought the firm, the woman that I worked for, she probably took 2 vacations in the 15 years before I bought the firm. And I was like, I don't want to live that way. So I can get away. I have a horse. I can go ride my horse in the middle of the afternoon or in the morning. I can do the things that I want to do, knowing that things are going to keep running. Is it perfect? No, we're still a very small operation, but it's all starting to build into place. Whereas before it was all me. I was doing everything. I'm answering the phones. I'm the receptionist. I'm the mail clerk. I am absolutely every part of it. And I couldn't get away for a minute, much less days or weeks at a time.
Okay, so I think
I do have a full-time attorney as well now. So that's a good one, an actual good one.
All right, so I think this is a good transition to go into our questions. And I want to open up the questions to both of you. Take turns, speak over each other, argue with each other, disagree. I don't care. Let's just get a conversation going, okay? All right? So knowing what you know now, right? Vanessa with a almost $3 million firm, Morgan with a firm that's certainly going to do well over $1 million this year in gross revenue. Both of you with the freedom to be away from the firm for days, weeks, in Vanessa's case, already months. And while you're gone, each of the 7 main parts of the firm keeps going and keeps growing and keeps going and keeps growing, so that your clients don't have to worry about their case getting derailed or dropped altogether if something, God forbid, were to happen to either of you. Your staff doesn't have to worry about what's going to happen to their job if you get sick, if your kid gets sick, if life just happens to you. Knowing what you know now, what do you wish someone had told you before, Vanessa, before you started your firm, and Morgan, before you bought your firm?
So definitely, I think that, the piece of advice that I wish I would have gotten, and that I talk about a lot, I feel like more often now, is hiring. You really cannot possibly grow without hiring, because when you do all the things, and that was the thing that most resonated with me when I did my discovery day. I'm like, what was it called back then?
It's called a discovery day.
The discovery day, where
Diagnostic, we did the diagnostic, which led to the discovery day.
So I remember the speaker that was there. I don't even remember which specific speaker. But when they were talking about, if you're doing the paralegal work, you're paying yourself $20 an hour. When you're doing the bookkeeping work, you're paying yourself $15 an hour. When you're doing that, really, really resonated with me then. And I wish I would have understood that better. Like, I got it when you guys told it to me, but I didn't get it. And I wish I would have known that when I started the firm. And I wish I would have really, really, like, taken that to heart. I definitely, got better when I joined HTM, but it's something that, you really, lawyers are so risk averse that we hate to hire. We hate the ego trip of, what if I have to fire them? And I don't have $100,000 to pay a lawyer, and I don't have this and I don't have that. And, and HTM really helped me to understand so much better. You don't need 100,000, you need the next paycheck and the next paycheck after that. And, and I wish I would have really, like, taken that much more to heart, much faster than I did, because I love to tell people now the magic number of associates is 4.
Thank you.
Your size. But so
4 or
Vanessa,
5 is definitely the magic number.
I have a reason for this. And I've experienced it. I had 4, and then 1 left, and we were down to 3, and I was like, okay, we could do this. And we redistributed her work. Then the second one left. Like, oh crap. Okay, no, now that means I'm doing the person who's left's work. And we went back to 4. And ever since then, we've never, we've never been less than 4. Now we're at 10. But the reality is that any less than that, and you as owner are back in production, you're back in having to be part of so many decisions, you're back into so much that now I tell everybody that the magic number is 4.
Okay, but
You know what the most
Vanessa,
dangerous?
I love that.
You know
No, hold on a second. Vanessa, can I take you back a second, a step back? Because I
Of
remember
course.
you from pretty early on. So before someone's in the position to have 4 associates, when somebody's even earlier on, right? Like, I am just starting. Like, you woke up, you're like, I got some kids. Morgan, you're like, I'm starting like today. What do you really wish you knew? Because me saying hire 4, so if I met you right now, I'm like, hey, Vanessa, hey, Morgan, starting your own firm? Cool. Hire 4 associates today. You'd both tell me to jump off a bridge, and it wouldn't be the right choice for you in that moment. So when you just started your firm, what did you wish you knew, and what did you need to do? Like, what resource, what tool would have made it just a little bit easier than doing it, than trying to figure it out? So think back to, like, you guys are like pulling out the money. You got like a kid on your hip still, Vanessa. Morgan, you're like, I don't know. I got these 10 clients, and that. What would you have loved and needed in that moment to get started?
So for me, it was that I didn't know everything. And this is why when I first joined HTM, it took about 2 years before I started getting any traction, because I was convinced I knew it all. I just needed someone to give me the forms, and it would all work out just perfectly. I wanted someone to just hand me the map, but I had to get out of my own way. And it took almost 2 years for me to realize I don't know everything. And even when I start to know everything, I may know it for that level, but I don't know it for the next. So what I wish I had known sooner was how to have a community. It's why I joined HTM, having people. So for example, with Vanessa, hearing the number 4, but also seeing the other people going through the hirings and the firings, and knowing, oh my God, when you're first executive assistant quits, your entire world is not going to crash and burn. You're actually going to find someone better next time. And like seeing other people doing that, hearing their stories, being able, not being the smart, right? We're all the smartest person in the room until we're not. And we're all used to being the smartest person in the room. So for me, being humble, learning that, you know what, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be the dumbest person in the room now.
Right.
And would I have listened to anybody? No, if you all told me that for 2 years. But that is what I needed to hear. That was what I probably needed to know more than anything else, to get out of my own way, to say, okay, try it, right? There was just so many rules that you think you have to follow that are confining you, and being exposed to a wide group of entrepreneurs doing dozens of wonderful different things. That to me was the thing I wish I had known more of when I first started.
So knowing that you don't know and that that's okay, knowing
Mhm.
that talking to people who do know, who've been where you are, right? Like it's so
Having
helpful.
access to them too.
Yeah. And knowing that there is no magic roadmap, right? I can't just hand you the policies and procedures. Like I've spoken to
Well, there is a
hundreds-
magic roadmap, and it happens to be called a business plan, but it took
Well,
me
yes.
3 years to figure out how to actually turn that into something I could use to propel my business forward. I had one, but you got to learn how to actually use it. And
Well, and right
that would have been nice to know too.
right one that's in English, right? What are your goals? How are we gonna get there? It took you that long to do it, just so you know, Morgan. Members who don't do their business plans are the reason I now have to get my hair colored. Just saying. Vanessa, because I was your CEO, what do you wish you remembered? Like right back at that beginning
Okay,
when you
can
were,
I stop for 1 second here?
of course.
This is very important for everyone at home who's thinking about starting a law firm, that we're clear with our terminology. Tanya, you were the CEO of Vanessa's law firm.
Yes, that is correct. Sorry.
Very important for all of you thinking about starting a law firm that you make a distinction between you and your law firm. As soon as you start thinking of you and your law firm as being the same, you're setting yourself up for all kinds of pain that you don't need to be experiencing. Tanya was the chief executive officer assigned to Vanessa's law firm. Vanessa was the owner of the law firm. Tanya wasn't the CEO of Vanessa.
I mean, there were moments that felt like it.
Yeah.
Like, Arjon, you're 1,000% right. They are very separate, and it is about the firm. Because if Vanessa wasn't there, then I would have been getting on the phone with someone else.
Yeah, I mean, we all
that's a
get
great
sloppy
distinction.
with our language sometimes, myself included.
Yep.
But since we have an audience of, I don't know how many people are in the audience, but a lot. So we have an audience of people who are thinking about or serious, or maybe they just started their law firm, and the cement isn't quite dry yet. It's really important that we are a good example for them and are clear with our language.
100%. Okay. So, Vanessa, when you were starting your firm, what are 3 of the things, right? You can't say 4 is a magic number because that wasn't going to solve it for you in that moment. What were 3 things that you truly, truly wish you knew at the beginning? Like when you were getting started, when you're like, Julian, I'm doing this. What 3 things do you wish you knew about starting a business that would have just made it a little easier, a little less?
A lot easier, not just a little, a lot. Why are you asking her for a little when we can get a lot out of her? What are 3 things that you wish someone had come along and just told you, said, Vanessa, don't do this. Vanessa, be sure you do that. Vanessa, here's something you need to understand. What are 3 things you wish someone had got through to you? And Morgan, what are 3 things you wish someone had helped you understand when you were just about to start your law firm, or Morgan, right when you were about to buy the law firm, or even like in the first year before the cement got hard?
So, I mean, I think that the fear of hiring would have helped me to be able to jump into all things law firm ownership a little bit faster. And not being so scared about being responsible for somebody else. So somebody walking me through some of what I learned when I joined HTM about hiring, I think would have given me a lot more comfort and a lot, I would have been able to grow faster. The next thing I would say is probably my environment. I definitely stuck around that 12 by 12 office too long. And, when you are in an environment that isn't conducive to your vision, that can really I think that hampers you because you're thinking of yourself as too small. And when I moved into my second space, I did that with some other members, Alina Nunez and Brett Tremblay, and we got an office together. We were all in BNI together. And Julian walked into that office and he goes, "You don't think this is a little small?" Because it was literally one office for each of us, one interior conference room, and like maybe support space for like one or two people like in the middle. And I was like, this is all I can afford. And I'm sure that I could have afforded more. I'm sure that if I would have had, like a better example, a better understanding of growth, that I would have chosen something bigger, better, and more conducive to my vision, but I didn't have that. So, so I think that would have been a really great lesson because I wouldn't have had to move 3 times in like 3 years. And I learned it. I did learn it because now I've been in the same space for, I think like 7 or 8 years now. And I haven't moved again. I just keep expanding and I keep taking space that belongs to, other suites that leave. So that's number 2. And number 3, I wish that I would have understood better or earlier how much my, like my friends at Miss Esquire like to say that my net work is my net worth. Because although I started learning how to network when I joined BNI, and I, that's really something that I'd never done before. I talk to law students now, and I'm like, you really need to connect with people. You need to see what's out there. You need to, you need to understand how much of lawyering is about who you know and what you can do for other people, and being open to those relationships. And I understood it a little bit when I joined BNI, but I really didn't get it until I'd been practicing and had my firm for a few years, and then again joined How to Manage, and got an entire massive community of lawyers. But you learn so much from the people that you surround yourself with, and you not only learn, but you also connect about work. I connect with family lawyers. I bring in lawyers to HTM because we refer work to each other. I connect with, all kinds of attorneys, and everything that I did at least learn early-ish on to build those relationships. But I wish I would have done more, and I wish I would have started faster and sooner.
It's fascinating for me to think of you as somebody who did not naturally network, because for those of you who are watching and you don't know Madam Governor, before that, she was just Miss Networking Queen. Vanessa actually holds monthly dinners or supper groups with lawyers all around the Miami-Dade area. Connecting people together, building a network is just, I assumed you just have been doing that since you were a little girl. Like, it seems so natural and integral to your persona and your brand. And it's, I'm sure, helps you. Like, that's how part of how you become Madame Governor, right? Is your networks and your connection with your community. That's very cool to know that that's something you grew into. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
Morgan, what are 3 things that you wish someone had told you before you bought that firm, or maybe even in the first year after you bought it?
Yeah, so some of them echo Vanessa a little bit, but I will start with one that doesn't, and that would be niching down into a specific field. I mean, I loved what I did. I was a business lawyer, but I did everything. I did intellectual property, trademarks, copyrights, liquor licensing, starting businesses, selling businesses, just real estate, estate planning, probate, like everything. And that made it really, really difficult to try to do any scaling. I had mentioned I did try to hire once before I joined HTM. It didn't go well because I realized I couldn't train on all those things that had taken me 20 years to know. So that is something that I wish somebody had explained to me, that when you focus on something smaller, you're not necessarily giving up opportunity. You're making room to be much better recognized for something.
Yeah.
The next thing they would have needed to tell me, though, because when you do that and you change practice areas so drastically, we had, Arjan, you had asked me this earlier, I'd never marketed. We'd never marketed. Business just came in the door. The phone just rang. I never had to worry about it. Well, guess what?
Hold on a second. I just got to say, when lawyers brag about how we don't have to do any marketing, we don't do any marketing, you got to understand, everyone. I want you to understand that to an experienced entrepreneur who owns a law firm, to the owner of a very successful law firm, that just sounds juvenile and ridiculous.
Yes.
Right?
I was getting there.
Lawyers who are running around bragging about, we don't have to do any marketing. We don't do any marketing. The business just comes to us. People with successful law firms are like, you're an idiot. Why wouldn't you do any marketing?
Well, and that's exactly it. It was because we were always tiny and small, and my partner had done a ton of networking and had the relationships and everything else. Remember, I was part-time, so I didn't know any of these people. I didn't have these relationships. I am just learning how to start doing this, and I'm trying to do that. So to me, what I wish I had known was, in that especially that first year when I wasn't that busy, focus more on building the referral relationships, the community relationships, spending the time doing all of that instead of, I don't know, doing the busy work. I don't even know what I was doing, working on my forms or whatever it was. Because once you start to get busy, you don't have as much time to spend on those relationships. Now you got to throw money at marketing people, right? Because you don't know how to market. So I wish I had known more, so I could have controlled that better, started working on those relationships and that networking a lot sooner.
Morgan, just one thing you just said, I love so much, because I hear this may surprise you. Lawyers sometimes are terrified of networking. I'm not sure what they do to you all in law school, but like there's this fear. And so often I hear firms that are starting out, that are like just starting, they're like, I'm too busy to network. And I'm like, what's your gross revenue? $50,000. Well, then you ain't too busy to go out networking, because you don't have that much legal work. And you just said it so perfectly. Like, you wish you knew early on,
right,
to actually invest the time, not spend, not waste, invest the time into starting to build some of those relationships. Because I mean, networking, referral sources, professional past clients.
It's also about hiring. Yes, but it's also about being able to hire. So because I didn't have the reputation, right? Nobody knows who I am. They don't know my firm. It's harder to get quality people. So because people don't know who you are and whether they can trust you, whether your firm's going to still be around, whether they want to work with you. So building all of that up, it's not just about bringing in the business, but as you grow, it's also about getting that quality of hiring coming in. So that would be another thing. And it goes, again, back to hiring, like Vanessa had said, knowing that it's not a cost, it is an investment. It is buying your freedom. When you hire these people to do things, it is multiplying your value and your time. And guess what? You're going to mess up. You're not going to do it right. And life's not going to end. You're going to go get another one and you're going to get another one. And it does get easier. The first person you have to fire, it's just awful. And it's not that it gets easier over time, but you get better at it. You get better at the whole thing. But
Hey,
having
Morgan, can I just jump in here? Because I want everyone to understand what we mean when we say you get better at it. Because I don't want them to think you get better at it as in you become cold-hearted. And I don't want to say it's like you get better at it because there's some technique to it. What we mean by you get better at it is you build better data. You build better key performance indicators. You build better metrics into your business so that you can make sure you're making the decision, an objective decision based on data, an objective decision based on key performance indicators, an objective decision based on clearly stated policies and procedures with complete confidence that you took the person through a proper onboarding process, with complete confidence that you gave the person all the training that a reasonable person could ever need to do the job the way the job needs to be done. And so when the data and the metrics and the key performance indicators and everything is just, it's like you've got so much evidence that you don't have to second guess yourself. You don't have to doubt yourself. You don't have to procrastinate. You'll still feel bad because, it's a human being that you're giving, bad news to, but you just have so much evidence that you're making the right decision for your family, you're making the right decision for your clients, you're making the right decision for the rest of the staff, and then it's not just like this, and sometimes even for them.
Vanessa, bless you.
Yeah, 100%. And that is what I meant. Yes, exactly. We know that we've given them the support. We've had it becomes about the processes and the procedures. And if you have those in place, you don't have to blame the person. Like, is it the process? Is it the procedure? Have we trained it properly? Have we onboarded? Did we hire the right person? And so it becomes something that it should never be a surprise, right? It's not just like out of the blue, you're like, you're fired, right? We've got, when I say better, I mean, we have a better way to, like you said, measure all of this so that it's not a surprise. And it's never easy from a human perspective, but most of the time now we've given them a level of support that, we're like, maybe we can help you move on to something that you're going to find a better fit for and you're going to be happier at. So
yeah, and when you've got these systems in place to objectively measure someone's performance, and when you've got these systems in place to really set them up for success with proper training, because you've got the systems and the procedures in place, when the time comes to let them go, it's disappointing to have to give someone bad news. It's not positive news for them, but it doesn't rip your guts out because you're not second guessing yourself. And when you've got this in place, it gives you more confidence when it comes to hiring the person, because you know that you're not going to be tortured if you have to let them go. Clarissa, I haven't introduced you yet, but could I just get, I know you're jumping up and down to say something about this. Would you please? Clarissa, just in case you didn't know, Clarissa is one of the chief operating officers who, when I talk about how we provide CEO and COO and CFO services for all of our 500 law firms that we run, Clarissa was one of our chief operating officers who helped to create the internal processes and procedures and systems for a bunch of our members. And I say was because, well, this is kind of an awkward way to say it, Clarissa, but no.
What are you going to say?
Well, because Clarissa now runs the waiting room, right? So I met a waiting list. We've had a waiting list for the better part of 3 years. For 3 years, we've had people waiting to get into how to manage a small law firm. And more people are coming in than going out. So we have a waiting list. And so last year, we created a new program, if you will, called the waiting room. And as long as you are waiting on our waiting list, you get to participate in the waiting room for free. And Clarissa did such an amazing job as a chief operating officer, working with dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of the law firms that we help to manage, that we turned to her and asked if she would please take over and really spearhead and manage and run the waiting room. So Clarissa, would you just share a little bit briefly about yourself and the role of a chief operating officer and what the waiting room is? But first, before you do that, I'm sorry, I wanted you to comment on what Morgan was saying, and I want you to jump into the conversation.
Yeah, so what both Vanessa and Morgan said are so pivotal of what we do here at HTM. I mean, we uncomplicate things. I mean, just naturally as lawyers, you all know, if you're listening in, that we're risk adverse and we like to complicate things and we overanalyze. Well, what we do in here at HTM is we kind of we just uncomplicate it. And we make it real and we make it simple and we give you best practices. And as specifically as a COO, hiring is like one of the things that we love to give advice about. And we understand that there's lots of fear behind hiring. And we understand that it can be kind of like something very intimidating, specifically if you're starting out, but like a muscle, we help you build it. And that is, and you, Arjun, you hit it on the nail. I mean, we help you build the best postings and the best way to attract those specific employees. Then we help you build out your job description and KPIs that are easily measurable so you can have and set great expectations for your employees. And then we help you build out what would be anywhere from a 4-week to a 12-week onboarding plan so that your employees come in, not necessarily teaching them how to be a paralegal, how to be an attorney, but how exactly to work with you and at your law firm and in your business. So, I mean, it's amazing to hear that these two business owners have really appreciate, right, and have really grown from what we do here at HTM. It's rewarding for me to hear it. I love it. But it is a muscle. Hiring is definitely a muscle. But outside of that, I mean, as a COO, we help you with best practices, period. And we help you build policies and we help you build step-by-step procedures so that you can build the sanity that you need so you can step away when needed, when there is an emergency or when you just want to have a vacation with your family. We help you build that machine. And I mean, it's an awesome and a rewarding experience to work with all our members here at HTM and hear the stories that at 1 million or 3 million, that they could hire 4 attorneys and be so confident about that. It's awesome. So, I mean, there's so many things a COO can do. I can probably talk for an hour about our members and the things we do for them. But in short, we give you sanity, and that is through policies and procedures, and that is helping you build the sidewalk as you walk on it. That's one of the things I always say. We don't want you to have perfection, but we want you to start understanding the need and why it's important. And that it's okay to have fear today, and we help you build that muscle so you don't have fear. And I couldn't agree more. Terminating is not exactly fun, but we build systems so that you can hold your team accountable to be able to terminate them at the right time, to understand that there should be an exit plan. And then we learn from that, right? Arjun, we teach our members to learn from it and do better next time. So that's a small thing I do. Who am I? Well, I've been with HTM going on 5 years. I have 25 years of law firm experience being in-house in a law firm and running a legal recruiting firm. So law is like, I guess, one of my love languages. You could add that right in there. And in terms of what the waiting room is, well, the waiting room is amazing. It is allowing attorneys to have a taste of what we do here at HTM 100% free. We have Tuesday weekly meetings that we go and discuss several topics. We have several of our advisors here in HTM lead those meetings, and we talk about any topic. So to Vanessa and Morgan's point, we talk about hiring. We talk about how to hire. We talk about how to build a fantastic job posting. This month, we're talking about all things marketing, how to curate the best avatar. What is marketing in a law firm? How to back end, how to build your referral systems. Last month, we talked about how to build your sales systems and how to overcome objections. So the waiting room is wonderful. It is welcome to any starting out business, starting attorney who is running a business, or even if you are running a firm for like 5 years, but you're still in production. You're still head down instead of head up and managing business. You're not spending time with your family. That's the waiting room has so many resources and these weekly meetings, and we have a live chat that gets responded to within 24 hours. We offer workshops for free. I mean, it is a no-brainer for anyone who wants to get a taste of what HTM offers.
I just want to make sure everyone's super duper extra clear. The waiting room is free. There's no charge for the tools. There's no charge for the live trainings that happen by Zoom. There's no charge for the live Q&A calls. There's no charge for the recordings. There's no charge for the templates. There's no charge for any of the other resources. There's no charge for the live meetings that you physically get on an airplane and come and sit in a conference room with us, and we give you coffee, and we give you lunch, and we give you workbooks, and you meet hundreds of our members to work on things that we do for you while you're in the waiting room, waiting for a spot to become open. We start treating you very much like a member, even while you're sitting in the waiting room, all for free. The waiting room, I was gonna say it comes with a money back guarantee, but it's free. So it's free.
It's free.
Yeah. But I wanted you to circle back. I'm sorry, I got us sidetracked to talk about Morgan's point about the policies and the procedures and how they set us up to do a better job of hiring and training and managing employees, and give us more confidence to know that we're making the right, objective, fair, humane decision when the time comes that we got to let them go.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to start off by saying that employees yearn for these policies and procedures. They want them. And we have an obligation as owners of any businesses to give instruction to your employees so that they do the best job for you. And I can't imagine any employee, let's start with that. So employees who do a great job, who show up, who are willing to work, want to have instruction, and policy and procedures do that. And by giving them the tools independently of you to do their job that they are meant to do every single day, we are setting up those employees for success. And not only that, but we're also putting them to some sort of measure with KPIs and a clear job description and those policies and procedures that they have available to them to follow. And when things do not happen and journeys don't continue and workflows don't get followed or KPIs are not met, what does that mean, right? It means we have to have conversations with these employees to kind of hold them accountable. And it helps the process to say when an employee is not meeting our expectations, but we have it here. It takes the emotion out of it. It holds them to a standard. It holds the firms to a standard. I mean, by the way, we also have policies and procedures that we implement externally for clients as well, right? So it is a level of standard that we have for our law firm, for our team, for our clients, that helps us hold everybody accountable, helps you make decisions on who to hire and when to hire, helps us to hold those people accountable, helps to have constructive exit conversations. And I just think it's fantastic. I mean, I can't even... Right, Morgan and Vanessa? I mean, it gives you sanity. It helps our owners sleep at night, right? How many times, ladies, have you probably thought in the middle of the night, like, oh my God, did I not give this instruction, right? or they didn't do something right.
And then they start and then some of the employees, they start gaslighting you and making you think that you lost your mind. And then sometimes they gang up on you, and then you really think you lost your mind. But look at this. I wrote this down for you. Policies, which yesterday we talked about the difference between policies and procedures. But you take policies, you add them together with procedures, and what you get are systems and sanity. Policies plus procedures equals systems and sanity. I wonder how long it's going to take a certain someone to shoot a video that copies this and pretend like they just made it up.
We'll never know, but Morgan and
I just want to say
Vanessa
the date and time. The date is, what is today's date?
April 15th, 4:19 Eastern.
April 15th. Today's tax day?
Today's tax day.
Tax day. April 15th at what time?
4:19
At
Eastern.
4:19 Eastern Standard Time. And by the way, this is like the 500th time I've taught. We have a whole workshop. We've been running for more than 10 years called Policies plus Procedures equals Systems and Sanity. And I'm just mentioning that. So if someone shows up on a video soon and watching this, and you know who you are, you motherfucker. Hey, everyone, I just thought of this brand new idea myself. Fuck you.
We'll put that in an ad for sure.
Yeah, right?
Well,
guess-
they want a real taste of HTM.
We got no new ideas this month.
I mean, hang on a second. Morgan and Vanessa, can you just take a second and just let everybody know this is really how he is? And like this is who he is. This is what he cares this much. And
HTM unbridled.
He used to be.
Well, you got to understand, we have over 100, I think we have 120 or 130 full-time employees. This isn't like you're going to be working with me, just so we're super duper extra clear. Because, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And I get that.
But it definitely starts at the top. So, for example, our core values are, I'll put those on the screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Truth equals reality. And I love Vanessa and Morgan to comment on these as well. How does the definition
of profit changed for you both since you started at How to Manage and Taye Estuya? What's that?
Well, don't jump around. Give them one at a time.
All right. So
which do you want them to talk
about?
I
want to understand what profit.
Start with the first one. How about we start with one? That's why it's one. One, then go. Then we go to two.
Okay. So pursuit of truth equals reality.
Yeah, I'm curious. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. What does that mean to you, Morgan and Vanessa?
So truth equaling reality. I think I'd mentioned earlier about the stories that we tell ourselves and the rules that we follow that aren't reality. And so one of the things that HTM and a program I'm called PPM is really good at is helping us identify what is the truth, what is reality, what is not a story that you're just telling yourself, because that was holding me back a huge amount. I thought attorneys had to look this way, law firm owners had to look this way, act this way, be this way. This is the right way to market. You're not allowed to go talk about yourself. There were all these rules that I didn't even know where they were coming from that I was following. And so looking into what is truth, what is reality has helped me peel that away and open me up in my personal life as well as in my professional life. It's allowed me to build the relationships and create community in a way that I was never able to before, because I didn't really understand where all of this was coming from. It wasn't truth. It wasn't reality. It was just stories. So that's what it means to me.
Vanessa, what about you?
I mean, I agree with Morgan when she talks about, the stories we tell ourselves, and every lawyer, if you haven't said it, you've heard it. That's not how we do things. That's not how it works. That's not how we've always done things. So when you're looking for, when you're doing the pursuit of truth, you are looking for what is actually today's reality. What is actually the reality that I want to be in? What is the environment I want to be in? What is, the what is truth today, not just because somebody else told it to me, but what is my truth, and that then is used to build my reality.
100%. And that's how I changed my law firm. I built it around it, estate planning had been done the same way for what, thousands of years. Why? It doesn't work. My grandmother's estate plan failed. My clients' estate plans were failing. I looked at it and I'm like, why are we doing it this way? It doesn't make any sense. Let's keep people out of court. Let's keep people out of conflict. Let's make their families' lives easier. So I rebuilt my whole law firm about challenging that, exactly like Vanessa said. So yeah, it's a big one for me.
Arjan, when you came up with these core values, what did it mean to you?
All right. So first of all, I didn't come up with these core values.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
These are my core values.
Yes.
Right. These are my core values. And I use this business this business is my expression of how I think the world should be. Your law firm, when you build your law firm, it's important to build your law firm as a way of expressing your vision, whatever that vision is. And so it's important to make sure you're clear on what your core values are. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to go to a seminar and someone's going to be telling you blah, 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 and you'll start going that way. And then you'll read a book and someone will say something different and you'll go that way. And then you'll go to a meeting and you'll meet someone who's got a very successful law firm, or at least they pretend to have a successful law firm, and you'll try to emulate them. And you'll be going all over the place. So it's very important when you're starting your law firm to really invest some time to think through and get clear on what are your core values. These should be the same core values as if you had a law firm. They're your same core values if your business was, you ran a bowling alley. They're the same core values if you're working for someone else doing, mowing lawns. It doesn't matter what you're doing for a living. It doesn't matter what business you're in. These are your core values as a human being. And then you express those core values through your policies, through your procedures, through the choices you make about how you run your business, the choices you make about who you choose to do business with. The core, it's critical. So I just, Justin, when you say came up with them, it makes it seem as I went to a fucking consultant or a focus group or something. I went deep into my soul, and it took me a long time to dredge this up out of myself. And it took me a long time to find the confidence to share these, and be open about them, right? And talk about them, because, some of these core values, they've caused me to suffer a lot of abuse from a lot of judgmental assholes in my life. So the first core value is truth. Truth is reality. Reality is truth. All things that are true because they are real. If it's true, it's only true because it's real. All things that are real are true. There are truths in outer space that no one knows about. There are truths at the bottom of the ocean that no one's ever seen, no one's ever measured, no one's ever heard about, no one's even ever imagined. They're real, therefore they're true. You don't have to know about it for it to be true. You don't have to approve of it for it to be true. You don't have to like it for it to be true. It doesn't have to be convenient for you for it to be true. It doesn't have to make you feel good for it to be true. It's true because it's real. And that's why it's so important in my mind to look at your financials, because your financials are the most objective way of knowing what's real in your business. And if you don't know what's real in your business, then you are just out of control. Like, very legitimately, literally, the definition of out of control is when your actions are not based on what's real, and your actions are not really affecting and you can't have meaningful effect in your business if you don't know what's real. This is why it's important to have documented policies and documented procedures and things like all this stuff we're talking about, because you got to know what's real. Yeah.
One thing that's
I can
real,
talk about this for like an hour. Right?
One thing that's real, and the truth is Vanessa has to leave in a couple minutes. So I'd like to give her an opportunity to let people know where they can find out more about her business and her new job as Madam Governor if they want anything changed in Florida and their bar association. Vanessa, take it away.
Absolutely. So I'm in all the social media. Our website is familylawprotection.com. And I'm on Facebook, which is sadly where I live because I feel like I'm a little bit old. And Instagram and TikTok. And I am really trying to build a lot more communication on LinkedIn. So I'm putting a lot more of my stories, including my origin story, in LinkedIn. So I would encourage anybody that wants to learn more to reach out there. But I'm always available. I love, and HTMers know this, I love talking about this topic. I love talking about, law firm and building law firms and giving my unnecessary and unrequited sometimes advice. So if you are considering HTM and you're in Miami, please reach out. I'd love to have coffee and talk to you about my experience. And you can reach out by email, vanessa@familylawprotection.com.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Madam Governor. We will see you soon.
Morgan, are you going to be able to stick around with us for a little while longer?
Yes, I can stay for a few more minutes.
All right. Well, let's talk about the second one. What does the second core value mean to you?
Stand for profit. What's profit mean to you now versus when you started?
Yeah, so that's a big one because profit used to just be the getting money for my time. And one of the biggest entrepreneurial shifts is learning that you're not exchanging your hours, right, for money. But profit is a whole lot more than that for me because now it is also about how many people I'm helping, how much time I have to do the things that I like to do, right? So it's not just money, it's time, it's influence and, growth, the personal growth as well. So profit has expanded in meaning for me. And too many people get wrapped up in, oh, my firm grossed whatever. And, we did give our gross numbers earlier, but it's not about the gross number. It's what am I actually taking home, right? Because it costs money to actually run a law firm. So making sure that you're looking at what is it that you want to be getting out of your law firm, right? You're not your law firm. It needs to be supporting you. And what does that mean? Does it mean that you can take that time away from the firm? Does it mean that you're taking a certain amount of money out of the firm? Does it mean that you're building the reputation or the professional reputation that you're looking for? So there's a lot of different things that go into what is profit, just like what is success.
I love it. I mean, I don't know what to say. We've been doing business together for a long time, so it doesn't surprise me that you've sort of come around to my way of thinking about what profit is. Profit is quite simply anytime you exchange something you value less for something you value more, you are making a profit. No two human beings in the history of our species has ever had a voluntary exchange where they didn't both make a profit. If I'll go to my trusty red and green markers that I keep using as examples, and I'm waiting to see if anyone notices why I always hold the green one here and the red one there.
Red on right.
Red on your right.
Which is odd because that's your left facing the camera.
It's red on your, okay, those are markers. When you're when you're piloting a boat or piloting an airplane, the red light is always on the left.
Okay.
The green light is always on the right. on the starboard side, port side,
Mm.
and then the white light is like up here, right?
Yes.
The white light is up here, green here. So this would be when it's the middle of the night and you got a red light and a green light heading right at you, you know you're about to have a collision, right? If you see this and you only see a green, you know that the boat is heading that way. Or red, you know it's heading that way. Anyway, that's why I always do green and red. Anyway, because I'm heading at you, right? If I did this, then that would be weird. I'd be like going away from you, heading at you. All right.
Good to know.
My point is, if one person values the green marker more than they value the red marker, and they say, hey, if blah, 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 I'll give you my red marker if you give me your green marker. I'll give you my red marker if you give me your green marker. Well, the person with the green marker values the red marker more and they make a trade, they've both profited because they both got something more. They both got something that they value more than what they gave up. This, by the way, is the foundational, most basic. If you don't understand this concept, you will be at a severe disadvantage in all things marketing and all things sales. If you don't understand this concept, is foundational to all effective marketing, and it's foundational to all things that are effective when it comes to converting prospective clients into paying clients, where the client is happy and you're happy. I would encourage all of you, the next time you're interviewing a marketing vendor, to say, what's your definition of profit? And if they only talk about money, if they only talk about dollars, understand that your marketing vendor, I mean, they might know how to operate a ClickFunnels campaign. They might know how to operate a PPC campaign. They might know how to design a pretty website or something like that, but they're not treating marketing as a philosophy. And, if you want to do business with someone who doesn't really treat their profession from a philosophical, foundational standpoint,
Morgan,
choice.
Speaking of philosophies, had you ever heard of a magic statement before you joined HTM?
I had, but yeah, I'd listened to a lot of podcasts on starting a business when I was going to start a business. But nobody had ever made me do it. So, and it is definitely a big thing at HTM.
Why is it so important? And why is it such a big thing at HTM?
So that we can start those marketing conversations, right? Your magic statement is supposed to be something that describes enough about what you do that it leaves the person you're speaking to curious to open up a dialogue and ask some more.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So listen, everyone. We have about 20 minutes left in the live stream. And some of you have taken a bathroom break during this time. The people who are behind the camera here in the studio have taken their bathroom breaks during this time. I have not taken a bathroom break in the last hour and 40 minutes. And so we're going to end this thing on time. Marketing. Justin, read from the landing page what everyone came here expecting to learn about today, so I make sure I deliver on everything, and then we're going to get to it. We'll do a little Q&A at the end, so bring your questions, and then we're going to wrap up.
Yeah, it's basically on the landing page, it says figure out and understand the ways that any introvert or extrovert can get new clients for their law firm.
Okay, let me say this. Introverts are much better at marketing than extroverts. So if you are sitting at home thinking, I'd really like to start a law firm and I would sure like for it to be successful, but poor me. I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. Introverts are much, much better at marketing. Why? Because effective marketing isn't about broadcasting. Effective marketing isn't about telling and saying and broadcasting and glad handling and being all chummy with people. Effective marketing begins by listening. It begins by asking what people want, asking what people think, asking how people feel, asking what people are doing, which, by the way, is a good time now for me to mention that we have a survey that we created because we're getting a lot of interest and a lot of questions about whether we will bring back the how to start a successful law firm in 90 days or less, very interactive live workshop. And I would like to bring it back. It's been almost 10 years since we've run it, or 7 years since we've run it. 7 years, 2019 was the last year we ran it. 2018 was the last year we ran it. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Yeah, it's been 5, 6, 7, 8 years since the last time we ran it. And I would like to bring the program back. But you know what? I got a lot of things that I can do that are productive and profitable and fun. And I am only going to do this if there's a lot of interest in doing it. So please do the survey. Do you have the link to the survey? I just point down, do the link to the survey and give us your feedback and let us know if we're on the right track with this or not. Speaking of which, let us know in the chat if there's something else that you want to know about, something you want to learn about, something you need, and we're happy to share it free of charge. We have so much great stuff that we literally have a reference librarian or resource librarian whose job it is to talk to law firm owners who will probably, some of them, never become a member of How to Manage a Small Law Firm. We have law firm management consultants who call us, and we're happy to share resources with them that they can use to help their clients. We just have so much stuff. We just want to get it out there, and it makes you feel good to see your stuff being used by people. Introverts. So the foundations of an effective marketing plan. Number one, clarity on who your target avatar is. Number one, clarity on who your target avatar is. Avatar or avatars plural, like 2 or 3 at most, not 20, right? I am constantly surprised how many marketing vendors will let lawyers spend tens and tens and tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the marketing vendor who's just spending all this money doesn't even know who the avatar is for the law firm. Don't let that happen to you. Define the avatar that you're looking for. 1, 2, 3 avatars at most. We actually covered this in an earlier segment of this live cast. You can go back and look at it where we talked about how to figure out who your avatar might be. You also can contact one of our reference librarians or resource librarians, and we've got all kinds of tools that we can share with you to help you really hone in on your ideal avatar. And it's something we do with people in the waiting room all the time. Because if you don't know what you're looking for, I mean, you're just throwing, it's like playing blind archery, right? You don't know what you're shooting at. Number 2, get clear on your cost of goods sold. You've got to know your cost of goods sold. Why do you need to know your cost of goods sold with marketing? You need to know your cost of goods sold with marketing so you know what your prices have to be sure you're building a profitable product to sell. And so you can understand how much of this you need to sell to hit your profit goals. So for example, if your cost of goods sold, if it costs you, I'll make this up, if it costs you $1,000 to deliver the service to the client, you can't sell it for $1,000. You'll just break even. In fact, you'll probably lose money because you've got other administrative expenses. If you cost you $1,000 to deliver the service to the client, you probably need to be selling it for at least 3 to 5 times your cost of goods sold if you expect to make an actual respectable profit, a sustainable profit in your business. If you're selling it for less than around 3 to 5 times your cost of goods sold, you will go out of business and suffer a lot before you mercifully eventually go out of business. So understand your cost of goods sold, because that's going to dictate how much you can invest to acquire a client. You need to know the cost to acquire a client, and that's all going to be driven by your cost of goods sold. So you got to know who your avatar is. You got to know your cost of goods sold. You need to know what you can afford to. Yeah, no one wants to know this. What everyone wants to know is, what's the latest marketing gizmo that could just bring me new clients, right? I'm telling you, if you just jump to the tactics, you're going to get yourself into trouble. And it's going to take you about 3 to 5 years to figure out what a giant mess you've made. And that's 3 to 5 years of your life you're never going to get back. So please invest the time at the beginning when you're building a foundation for a successful law firm. Take this time now to get clear on who your avatar is, or avatars, 2 or 3 at most. Get clear on, and by the way, once you get clear on who your avatar is, you're going to want to do some investigation. You're going to want to start talking with these human beings about what are their hopes, what are their dreams, what are their goals, what are their plans. Do they spend most of their time on Facebook or TikTok or LinkedIn, or do they read these magazines, or did they listen to these podcasts? You want to learn as much about these people as you can, because that's how you reach them with your marketing messages. But if you don't know who your avatar is, then you don't know who to talk to ask them about themselves. The best way to reach a person, there's a saying, fish where the fish are. You don't have to be the greatest fisherman or fisher person in the world. You don't have to be the greatest person at fishing in the world. If you drop something into the water where there's lots of fish, you're much more likely to catch a fish than if you are the most skilled fisherman in the world and you go drop your line where there's no fish for miles around. You got to know who the avatar is, go talk to these people, learn about their view of the world, learn about their perspective. Look, we put our core values up on the screen. Put them up again on the screen. You read those core values. They resonate with you or they don't resonate with you. You read our statement of values. You read our manifesto statement of values. Put a link to that on the screen too. You read this book and you read it and you're either like, wow, these are my people. They share my values. They share my view of the world. They believe what I believe. And if you believe if you stand in front of your best avatar, physically standing, virtually standing in a in a document, whatever, if you communicate to your best avatar and you say, I believe that your law firm should work for you, not the other way around. I believe that you should be willing to sacrifice things you value less because you want to get things you value more. I believe that your law firm should be run like a business that serves you, and you should not spend your life serving your law firm. I believe that you should not take pride in how much you suffer. You might have to suffer. You probably will suffer in the process of building a successful business. You should not take pride in how much you sacrifice. You may have to sacrifice. You will have to sacrifice a lot of stuff to build a successful business. But you should be making these decisions for practical, profitable, objective, rational reasons based on self-respect in service of your future self. You should be saying to your future self, I'm willing to make these sacrifices today so I can give you and my future family a better life. But instead, what happens in too many law firms is the law firm is run in pursuit of sacrifice for the sake of sacrifice, because lawyers have been indoctrinated in the virtues of sacrifice for its own sake. And the problem is, when you start to believe that sacrifice is good for its own sake, well, then you can sacrifice $100 to get $1 and you're virtuous. You can sacrifice time with your family that's precious to have time with strangers you're never going to talk again with, and that's virtuous. You can sacrifice what is the most precious and meaningful to you to get things that are worthless to you. And if you pray to the doctrine of sacrifice, then you are virtuous the more you suffer and the more you sacrifice and the more you can endure. And this is how you get to bar association meetings and you see these people standing around bragging about how much they suffer and competing about how much they suffer and taking pride in how badly they run their businesses. You could do this as an experiment. You go to any bar association. Look, our definition of a successful law firm is a law firm that serves the owner financially, serves the owner personally, and serves the owner professionally. And you go to any bar association and you report honestly and accurately how the law firm is working financially, how the law firm is working personally, and how the law firm is working professionally for you. And you take two different lawyers, and the first lawyer goes to the bar association and he or she or they say, financially, my law firm is really struggling financially. The economy is no good. The clients don't want to pay. I got a bunch of accounts receivables and, I'm struggling to make ends meet. Personally, I'm working like 50 hours a week. I'm working 60 hours a week. I don't get to see my family. Professionally, my clients are shit. They don't appreciate me. The staff is unreliable. I can't depend on them. You go to most bar associations, you go to almost any bar association, and you report accurately and honestly that that's how your law firm is running. And you're going to have a line of fucking assholes competing for who's more fucking miserable. $50,000 in accounts receivables, that's nothing. I run my law firm so badly that I have $60,000 of accounts receivables. $60,000 of accounts receivables, that's nothing. I'm such a fucking idiot that I got $80,000 of accounts receivables. Personally, I work 50 hours a week. 50 hours a week, that's nothing. I'm working in the firm 60 hours a week. 60 hours a week, that's nothing. I haven't seen my family in 2 fucking weeks because I run my law firm so badly. These idiots are literally bragging about how fucking badly they run their law firms. This is insanity because they bought into this doctrine of sacrifice that makes sacrifice a virtue. And how to manage a small law firm, we believe that, we're going to have to make some sacrifices, but we make the sacrifice in pursuit of profit. We make the sacrifice in expectation of having a better life for ourselves, a better life for our family, as an ROI on the sacrifice. And lest you think we don't give a shit about the clients, consider this. Who's better off when you suffer by solving a client's problem? You think the client cares that you suffered? You think that solving the client's problem is worth more to the client because they know you missed your kid's birthday to solve their problem? You think the client is like, oh, you suffered so much, that makes it worth more to me. What kind of sadist assholes would do that? If you got clients who want you to suffer, if you got clients who like it when you suffer, then you got a major marketing problem. Your avatar is the devil. Why would you want to have clients who like it and value and appreciate when you suffer? Instead, you want to have clients, you want to have better clients. You want to have clients who say, I care about the results you got. I'm focused on getting value for the money that I pay you. I want to have a better future, and I've got a legal problem that stands in the way of me having a better future. And you can solve my legal problem and pave the way for me to have a better future. That's what I value. And if you have to work nights and weekends to do it because you're so inefficient, because you don't have policies, you don't have systems, you don't have procedures, you don't have staff, you don't have financial controls. If you have to work that hard to do it, well, I'm sorry for you, but I still want the result. Oh, what's that you say? You sign up for a program called How to Start a Successful Law Firm in 90 Days or Less, and to learn how to make your law firm work for you, and you can solve my problems without having to suffer? Great. Because all I care about is solving my problems. That's how the clients see you. That's how you see every service provider that you work with also. It's really important that you're clear about who your avatar is. It's really clear, really important that you understand what they really value. And without even knowing anything about you, without knowing anything about your practice area, without knowing anything about your avatar, unless you're a masochist and unless your client is the devil, what your clients care about is what your law firm can do for them. Your clients don't want you to suffer. They're willing to let you suffer, but they're just as happy to get the same result without you suffering. So why suffer? Why sacrifice for the sake of sacrifice if you can sacrifice and get a profit in return? Doing it the way that I'm describing it, making a sacrifice in pursuit of profit, will ultimately lead to you having a more financially profitable business. It'll result in you having a more personally profitable business. It'll result in you having a more professionally profitable business. It will allow you to build a bigger law firm that helps a lot more people. Back to the point. Introverts are better marketers than extroverts. I know it might not seem this way, but I am actually a classic introvert. Introverts are people who, we don't like to be in crowds. We don't like to make small talk. We don't like to talk about little, like the weather and sports and politics and all that fucking inane bullshit. I don't care about that stuff. Introverts are people who we're drained when we're around too many people for too long. The reason why introverts are so much better at marketing than extroverts is because it's easier for us. It's more comfortable for us to ask the other person questions about their hopes, their dreams, their goals, their plans. It's easier for us to let the other person be the center of attention instead of us having to be in front of the camera doing what I'm doing right now. This is very draining for me. It's easier for an introvert to build a machine that does the marketing, and then let the machine run for you. Extroverts, they go around and they break the machine because they like to be the freaking center of attention and the hero in the whole thing. All right. Number one, you got to know who your avatar is. I think I've talked about that a lot. Look, there's a lot more I could talk about this, but for purposes of a live, free live stream, I think I've made my point. Have I made the point? I've made the point about knowing your avatar. I made the point about understanding your cost of goods sold and why knowing the cost of goods sold has a huge impact on the effectiveness of a marketing campaign?
Yes.
Okay. Number three is you got to know how much you need. If you look, if you want to earn, I'm just going to make this up. Let's say you want to earn $200,000. Can they see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to earn $200,000 from your law firm. And let's say your law firm, Justin, this is where you get your calculators out because you're anticipating me not being able to do the math. So let's say you want to earn $200,000 a year from your law firm. Do the math for me. That was a test.
Yeah, I know. What's
Let's make sure
what's the variable?
let's making sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to make $200,000 from your law firm.
Yes.
And let's say that your law firm operates at a 25% margin. Profit margin.
Yes.
That means you need to have a law firm that grosses $400,000. No,
No.
to $800,000.
Yes.
Yes, $800,000. That means you need a law firm that grosses to earn $200,000 at a 20% margin. You got to have a law firm that grosses about $800,000. By the way, don't think that's like such a big, huge, oh my God, I'll never get there. If you put the right processes, if you put a good start off with a business plan. All these people who are running around thinking, I'll never have an $800,000 law firm. Really? Can I see your written business plan? Oh, I don't have a written business plan. Okay. Can I see your written 12-month forward-looking projections and budgets and financial controls? What's that? Okay. Can I see your marketing budget? Can I see your marketing plan? Can I see the 12 key internal policies that's going to keep your law firm from running like a complete shit show? Can I see the 12 key external policies that are going to keep your life from sucking shit? Can I see the 24 key operational procedures that's going to make your law firm run more like a machine and less like a torture chamber? All right. Can I see some of the job descriptions and key performance indicators? I've been meaning to get around to that. Well, why do you think these are the people who think $800,000 is like so far out of reach? They're not qualified to have an opinion. They don't have a business plan. They don't have a marketing plan. They don't have a marketing budget. They don't have a forward-looking budget. They don't have financial controls. They don't have job descriptions. They don't have internal policies. They don't have external procedures. They don't have shit. They got nothing, and yet they're running around telling you that you shouldn't expect to ever be able to have an $800,000 law firm that runs at a 25% profit margin that gives you $200,000 of real fucking life income. Be careful that you ask the person who's giving you their opinion if they have the qualifications to even have one. $800,000 gross revenue target. This is a gross revenue target. $800,000. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And let's say your average case value is, let's just say $5,000. Average case value of $5,000 means we need how many cases?
160.
Equals 160 cases a year. Yes?
Yes.
Divided by 12 equals how much?
13.
13 per month. 13 cases a month at $5,000 average case value it gives you $800,000 in gross revenue. $800,000 in gross revenue with a 25% margin gives you $200,000. By the way, where do you think the other $600,000 is going? Where the extra $600,000 going? It's called hiring a staff so your business can keep working for you even when you need to or want to step away from the firm with emergency access only. This is the staff that allows you to have a life. This is the staff that allows you to have the confidence to know that if something were to happen to you, the whole thing doesn't implode. 13 cases at an average of $5,000 average case value. And look, if your average case value is 4,000 or 6,000 or whatever it is, just do the formula differently. Gives you $800,000 in gross revenue, 25% margin, gives you $200,000 a year. Now watch this, because we're talking marketing. This is called your target. That's the target. Your marketing vendor, if your marketing vendor, by the way, isn't asking you these questions, and yes, I'm talking to you, you fucking asshole. Don't pretend like you just made this thing up. I've been teaching this since 1999. Someone's gonna be like, so here's the formula that fuck you. Fucking, they say that imitation is the highest form of flattery, but it's still fucking annoying and pathetic when they can't come up with their own ideas.
This is true.
And if you want to copy me, at least acknowledge where you got it from, because I know you learned it from me, and so do you. All right. So I'm moving from this. Everyone, can you see this?
Yeah.
So $200,000 income goal at a 25% profit margin requires $800,000 in gross revenue. $800,000 in gross revenue at a $5,000 average case value means 160,000. Means 160 cases a year divided by 12 is 13 cases, new cases per month. You need to be able to open 13 new cases a month. Now, let's say your intake and sales process, converts at, I'm just going to say 50%, just to pick a number out of the air.
Easy math.
Just to make the math easy. 13 new cases per month divided by 0.50 equals 26 potential new clients. We call them PNCs. When you hear other people running around saying PNCs,
you know where you found it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just like in a mood. I'm just in a mood because I you know what it was? I was death scrolling this morning while I was waiting for you guys.
Okay.
And this ad popped up and this person was like literally like reading the transcript of one of my speeches from 10 or 15 years ago. I was like, dude, come on. Anyway, 26 potential new clients. So marketing now has a hard target. And you say to your marketing vendor, I need you to bring me 26 potential new clients every month. I don't need 56, because if you bring me 56 potential new clients every month, then I'm going to convert at 50% of 56, and I'm going to have 25, 26, 27, 28 new cases a month. And if I have 28 new cases a month, I'm going to wind up with bar grievances, because your factory, your systems, your procedures, your staff, you're not equipped to handle 28 new cases a month. And so the cases are going to back up and the clients are going to get pissed off, and you're going to wind up getting divorced, and your kids are going to wind up doing drugs on the street or something, because you're going to become fucking absentee parent number one, because you're busy trying to keep up with 28 new clients every month when you only have the machine built to handle 13, right? So let's get you here, and then we can get the infrastructure of the firm, get a chief operating officer to help you build the infrastructure of the firm up to be able to handle from 13 to, let's say, we get it up to 20, right? You get the firm working at 20 new cases a month at $5,000 would be $100,000 a month. Now you'd have a $1.2 million firm, and you take $400,000 a year out of the firm. Except maybe you take 50,000 of the extra 100,000 and you reinvest it to build better systems. And that's what makes it possible to then get up to, this is how it's done. This is how you build a successful law firm in the real world. It's step by step by step by step by step. It's not just some grand gesture, magic technology. AI ain't going to come along and save the day for you. This is the reality of building a real business that really works for you. 26 prospective new clients come to the door. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You converted a 50% conversion rate. That gets you 13 new cases. 13 new cases at an average case value of $5,000 gets you $800,000 gross revenue, $800,000 gross revenue at a 25% profit margin gets you your $200,000. If you want to change $200,000 to $150,000 and you still operate at a 25% profit margin, then instead of $800,000, you only need $600,000. And $6,000 if you want to change the average case value from 5,000 to 6,000, then you only need 100 cases. And if you only need 100 cases and you convert at a 50%, then 100 cases would be 8.9 cases a month.
Yeah.
And 9 cases a month at a 50% conversion rate would be 16 potential new clients. This is just the reality. This is just math. And if your marketing vendor isn't doing this math with you, which by the way, hardly any of them do, because they don't give a fuck about you. And if you want to know just how fucked up it is, you go to a convention filled with marketing vendors and guess where they're doing this math? Can anyone guess where the marketing vendors are doing this math? At home, can anyone guess who the marketing vendors are doing this math for? In the chat, is anyone saying anything?
Not yet, but I have a guess that's probably for themselves.
They do it for themselves. They
Yeah.
do it for themselves. They just don't care enough to do it for you.
Yeah.
I don't know which is worse. Look, maybe I'm just being an asshole, right? Maybe I'm just being unkind and not nice. Maybe I need to give these poor marketing vendors the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so I'm calling them assholes because they know better and they do better for themselves. They just don't do better for you. Maybe though, I'm being completely unfair and unkind. And the truth is that these poor marketing vendors, they just got such a good heart. They just don't know any better. They just don't know any better. And if they knew better, then maybe they would do this for their clients. So I don't know, which is worse? You want to work with a marketing vendor who knows better, they don't give a fuck about you, or a marketing vendor who literally doesn't know shit about how to run a successful business. Look, here's the thing. When you're starting your law firm, you don't need to work with any marketing vendors. Don't even work with a marketing vendor until you get your law firm well past $250,000 in revenue. You can do everything you need to do to grow your firm well past $250,000. You can even grow. I didn't even have a website till I had a $500,000 in gross revenue. You don't need any of that stuff to get the firm to $250,000. You don't even need any of that stuff to get your firm to $500,000 in gross revenue. You can get your law firm to $250,000 and $500,000.
You know what? While you take a sip, I know someone who can give us an opinion on this. Morgan can let us know when she started doing marketing, and then she can let people know where they can find her because she's got to go.
Okay. And I got to go because we're about out of time.
Yeah, you riff for 10 extra minutes, but
we are out of time.
Yes.
We are out of time. So yeah, I didn't start doing paid marketing until I was a little over 500,000, 400,000 or 500,000, I think. Basically when I wanted to grow faster, had the staff and couldn't, bring in the bringing the clients just all by myself anymore because I didn't have time to do all those things all by myself anymore. So that's a short answer.
You can build $1 million law firm with just networking and like basic old-fashioned marketing. You could build $1 million law firm just doing that if you really set your mind to it. It's not even that hard. It's actually in some ways easier to do it today than it was even, in the past, on account of the fact that every asshole and their brother is rushing to throw as much money into the coffers of these marketing vendors as they can. And so the digital space is like crowded, and the old-fashioned, not exciting, boring, old, traditional marketing, networking, organizing lunches, organizing talks, like no one's doing this anymore. And it's so effective and profitable. It costs you nothing.
And
Morgan?
and that was exactly what I said was one of those things I wish I had known when I started. So before I started my law firm, because I didn't put the energy or time into it when I had more energy and time, or more time at any rate. But I want to thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm afraid I have to run, but if people want to reach me, I am in New York, upstate New York, beautiful Chatham. My website is 4 Corners Legacy Law. You can always reach out to me. I love talking about this, HTM, building law firms, estate planning, all of it. I'm at Morgan, MORGEN, Morgan with an E, at BowersLawNY.com, and on Facebook, because yes, I'm of that generation and that's where my clients live. And I'm also working on building up a bigger presence on LinkedIn. So I am not on TikTok, sorry.
Morgan, thank you so much for
Morgan.
sharing your time.
Yeah, thank you
we'll
so
be
much.
sharing links to everyone's websites in the show notes, or whatever the right terminology is.
Thank you,
Whatever
Morgan.
the kids are saying these days.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I appreciate it.
So now it's just you and Tanya.
All right, no, this is us and no one. If they've got questions, I want to answer their questions. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up because we're already 15 minutes over. And
yeah, well, there's one good question. You've already basically answered it. Should I be spending on my marketing right away? If I'm looking to start, should I be spending on marketing?
No.
Do you know we've actually worked with firms that have went from 0 to $1 million just based off referral marketing, off their connections, their communities.
I know that's what this is. Yeah, but hold on, whoa. When you say based on their connections, there's a whole bunch of people who are like, well, that won't work for me because I don't have any connections.
They made.
They build the connections. They build the connections.
Yeah, 100%. And while I might disagree with you that extroverts are not as good at marketing for obvious reasons, the truth is going out and being a person and getting to know people, you don't need to spend a ton of money. You do need to invest your time. That's why we call this stage of growth hustle, market, sell, right? Because there is a hustle. You do invest your time.
Look, if your firm is grossing less than $250,000, you are still in the first stage of growth. And what you've got a lot of is time. You might waste it on a bunch of bullshit that is unproductive, which is part of the reason why I really want to encourage you to go take the survey. Take the survey, because the 12-week How to Start a Successful Law Firm in 90 Days or Less program will help you figure out where you should be investing and focusing your time, as opposed to all of the bullshit you really don't need to waste your time with, because everyone's got the same 24/7. Everyone's got the same 168 hours a week. Why are some people able to accomplish so much with their 168 hours a week, and other people, can't get out of their own way month after month, year after year for their whole life? And, and I'm not trying to like brag or show off, because look, my business this year will do close to $40 million, but there's people with 168 hours a week who have $400 million businesses, and they use their time in more productive ways than me. That's why I keep reading books. That's why I keep taking courses. That's why I keep studying. That's why I keep practicing what I preach and trying to learn how to do what I don't yet have experience doing. One last thing I'm going to say about taking a course on how to start a successful law firm in 90 days or less. Trying to figure this out on your own is setting you up for a lifetime of hypocrisy and being out of integrity with everything you say to your clients. And I know this sounds like maybe I'm being a little self-serving because I'm trying to get you to take the survey at least and give us feedback about the How to Start a Successful Law Firm in 90 Days or Less program. But consider this. Why do you think that clients should hire your law firm? I don't care if you're doing immigration or bankruptcy or criminal defense or personal injury or family law or intellectual property or real estate or mergers and acquisition or government law or anything. Is your basic premise that you, the client, are an idiot and I, the lawyer, am really smart? And you are really stupid, and that's why you need to hire me because I'm really smart. That's not a really good way to build a successful business with stupid clients. The most successful businesses, the most successful law firms especially, are built with really smart clients. You are really smart when it comes to the business of running a restaurant. But today, you're coming to see me because you have a patent or a trademark issue which you know nothing about. When I want to learn how to run a restaurant, I'll come talk to you, and you're coming to see me because I know a lot about the area of patents and trademarks. You are really smart when it comes to educating children. You're a brilliant teacher, and you're great at educating children. I have taken hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people through the process of dissolving their marriages. So if I want to learn how to teach children, I'll hire you to teach my children, and you teach me and you hire me to help you get divorced. You are really skilled and knowledgeable about how to drive one of those big semi-trailer trucks. And you're really good at that. And I don't have a commercial driver's license. And I don't know how to drive a big semi-trailer truck and how to back it up into a warehouse. You're really good at that. I acknowledge that you are better than me in that area of life and commerce. But you're coming to see me because you need to file bankruptcy. And this is my domain where I know a lot. The point I'm trying to make is when you don't find the courage to ask for help about areas of business and life that you don't know about, you are putting yourself in a position to be out of integrity when you tell your clients that they should do what you can't find the courage or self-respect to do for yourself. And I'm sorry if that hurts some people's egos and maybe bruises your feelings a little bit. Hurts your feelings, bruises your ego. I'm sorry if you don't like hearing it, but I think on some level, you're feeling the truth of what I'm saying, the reality of what I'm saying resonating, and you know it's real. And if you take it to heart, it's going to make your marketing and your sales more effective. Tanya, I want to thank you for being with us again today.
Thank you, Arjan. I'll see you tomorrow for our last show.
Tomorrow is our last show, and we're going to be talking about what?
Sales and anything else that people want.
Sales and anything else that anyone wants to talk about. And do the survey. Do the survey. Do this. Even go and do the survey and tell us what a bunch of fucking assholes we are and what a stupid idea this is there's actually a choice where you could tell us how stupid this is and how terrible we are. Do the survey, give us your feedback, please. We really want to hear from you.
And please come for sales tomorrow. Between Arjun and I, we can help you right now add so much more freaking value to the prospects you're talking to, convert more of
They're
them.
not talking to anyone. They haven't even opened their own law firm. They're scared of opening their law firm because if they've actually given it much thought, they've thought to themselves, holy shit, I've never had to go out and hunt and get my own business. It's always been fed to me by a rainmaker in the law firm that I work for. And, you know, that's why this is why people waste all this money with shitty marketing vendors, because they're afraid of actually having real conversations with prospective new clients. And they think the marketing vendor is going to do some magic hocus pocus for them so that they won't have to have this part of the conversation with prospects. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself for tomorrow. I'm done. See you later.
Bye.
Keep your questions coming throughout the afternoon and the evening. Good night.